Welcome to the People's Podcast, week 11, Pebbles 1. The dads match, no one can beat Evan. Just a couple of best friends hanging out. Let's break down the Frisbee touchdown. With a brush and some liquor, paint a playoff picture. Progressing with the season and the plot gets thicker. Stay tuned in and listen, Thanksgiving edition.
Hello.
Happy Tuesday. It's week 12.
Tuesday.
It's the People's Pod. Oh, yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
So I have no alcohol tonight.
Oh, no. Cheers. Water is just as good.
Yeah, it's partly for a detox after the weekend in Portland, and partly because I'm at Chelsea's parents' place and I didn't have a chance to run out and get anything, and don't feel like going snooping around their liquor cabinet for what they got going on. So hydrating today, gentlemen.
Sorry, future father-in-law. I didn't mean to be frenzing for some alcohol, but I have to atone. It's for the boys, you understand, right? So of your selection, what would you suggest?
Dude, last year I did that. We were here, the same exact scenario. I remember recording with Stu on Zoom, and I drank like 3 mismatched beers that were like in their fridge. That was like there for who knows how long. And also like, half drinking bottle of wine. Not on the podcast site, but just like throughout the visit. And so
It actually reminds me, this Topo Chico is brought to me by the wedding, Stu's wedding, right? We, after you guys cleaned up your Airbnb, there was the gift bag of leftover things. And then, me and Ashley went to Spain for a month and came back. We still had this collection of beers and seltzers and working my way through it.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I remember leaving, I think some session IPAs or something. Mm-hmm. Yeah, still in there.
Yeah, there was some 805s. There was session IPAs, some White Claws, and some Topo Chicos.
Hell yeah.
That was a fun Sunday. That was the last true football Sunday that I've had, because otherwise it's been in Spain, not watching, or last weekend it's just me on the couch just feverishly texting the boys.
Tradition unlike any other.
Yeah. I'm not alone if we're together, right?
I feel like for some reason I watch all the random games by myself. Maybe not random, but like the Monday or Thursday nights. I feel like I'll message 5 or 6 times in the group, and just back to back. How was your weekend?
We've all had our fair share of those moments. The weekend was awesome. So Friday night was a concert at the Libero. This dude named John Craigie, Ashley's best friend's, I guess, husband, grew up with John Craigie. They were neighborhood friends. And so he came to town and we did a double date, went to the show. It was super fun. John Craigie is very much a Arlo Guthrie type, or it's almost more of a comedian act than a musical act.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Between songs, he'll just deadpan humor, like Mitch Hedberg in a way. And he did a wonderful job of just making fun of anti-vaxxers and also just the pandemic itself in a way that I don't think he ever really got too over the line. He towed the line the whole show, and it was awesome. And it was just oh shit. Now he's talking about politics. why? Like the whole world of things. Like, oh, that was funny. There were no losers with that joke. Okay, yeah, cool. This is nice. So it was super fun, and all of his songs are a bit of like Weird Al Yankovic style. They're just like all fun humor type things. Yeah, so that was dope. Great show. And then Saturday, Ashley's other best friend was in town, and so we hosted them. And a different Ashley friend is a winemaker, and they had a wine tasting, like selling event in their backyard. So we went and tried all this like small local winery wines, and they
Interesting.
were all super tasty. Yeah. So I ended up like just blowing a couple $100 for like Christmas gifts, and it was just like really tasty. And I don't know, support local, right? I've been preaching that for a while through the pandemic. So here I bought from a local friend, so that's cool.
Out of a random backyard somewhere.
Yeah, it was their backyard. So
What are you guys doing in my backyard? Oh, we got to pack up. Okay.
that would have been so funny. Yeah. We're all in our like Coachella outfits, just ready for a nice wine extravaganza.
Purchase is non-refundable.
Yeah. So yeah, we started, that was like early in the afternoon. Then we went and just did a bar crawl through Santa Barbara, which is just always fun. And I started off the day dropping a couple $100 on wine, and then you spend the rest of the night drinking downtown. It was
Woof.
a hefty, yeah. The poor credit card did some heavy lifting. Made up for all the free food that I got in Spain, thanks to my company. And then Sunday was, the day of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And so I paid homage to him. Why not moving from the couch except for to go get shawarma?
Wow. What a staunch believer you are.
I know.
A believer.
So strong. Yeah. Yeah. So it was a really good weekend. Really, really fun times. How about yourself?
Yeah, the whirlwind continues. So last we spoke, I was sitting on Bill's couch in Bend. Chelsea and I were staying in Redmond, as everybody knows. So Friday night, we went back to Bend. Actually, Bill drove to Redmond, which again is like 25-minute drive. I stopped working at like 2 on Friday. We went and played some disc golf. There was a course that was a 10-minute walk down this canyon from where we're staying. So super convenient. I played like once a day at least when we were there. But then Bill, Chelsea, and I drove back to Bend. This is Friday night because we're going to go out to see some live music. So what we did, just like the last time we visited Bend, was we biked from Bill and Becca's place to the downtown area. A little cold and frosty, so we're all bundled up, right?
Couple marshmallows biking down the road.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I was wearing like 4 layers, including this jacket as like layer 3 and like a bigger jacket on top of this jacket, gloves, beanie, the whole kit and caboodle. Went to like a little square where they had a pretty dope like indie rock band playing and like some like food and drink carts. We got tacos, like little street tacos they made like right in front of us. It was great. And then we went to a like kind of speakeasy type bar where speakeasy in look, it was actually like underground. So you walk like down a like flight of stairs and then it opens up to like a pretty warm bar area. They sold pot pies. So we got a little mini pot pie there. Had like a few drinks there, then went to Becca's old place of business, this bar called Dogwood, and they had like fancy food and fancy cocktails, like the whole 9 yards. So we had a few rounds there and then biked back to their place, crashed at a relatively reasonable hour, like before midnight. Next morning, woke up, kind of had a slower morning with eventually the plan to go to Smith Rock, which is a like hiking and rock climbing area, which is actually pretty close to Redmond. And somewhere that actually Adam and I hiked around for Blake's bachelor party a few years ago. So same thing where it's a like 4 mile hike. The beginning of it is like straight uphill. Actually, it's not straight uphill, it's uphill, but like through some like windy, like cut back trails. But the incline is like this the entire time. And so you're like huffing and puffing. It's like you expect it to be cold, but you're like shedding all of your layers like as you're walking because it's so damn hot. Got to the top, shared some ciders. Beautiful view at the top of this rock formation. Actually, basically everywhere around like Bend and Redmond. In the distance, you can see all these like mountain ranges. There's like Mount Hood, which is off towards Portland. There is like Mount Jefferson. Oh my God, do you have a fucking mountain emoji? There's like the Three Sisters. There's Mount Bachelor. So all these on a clear day, you can see like 7 or 8 distinct peaks. So that was really cool.
That sounds beautiful.
And then went back to the place. Took some shrooms because that night we did go to this holiday light experience. Oh, what the hell are you can just do an emote
Reactions.
Oh, you actually can search. I thought there was only like the few set ones.
Oh yeah, no. There you go.
Anyway, we went to this light experience that we bought tickets for. That it's like a holiday light experience where you can buy these like 3D glasses and walk through these warehouses full of like strings of like Christmas lights and just different like formations and like different, like they have these giant like ornaments that had like the like metal inside and like lights strung around them. Anyway, just like Christmassy light experience. So we took all like very small amounts of shroomies. Didn't really amount to anything. Like none of us really tripped. Should have taken much more of that because it was pretty cool to be in there. They did serve hot cocoa with schnapps, so enjoyed some of that. Then from there, went to a brewery downtown Redmond. Redmond is very like small. The downtown area is kind of funny. Sunday, we watched some football in the morning in Redmond. Then we went to Bend, and Bill, Becca, and I searched around for a bar that was showing the games. Finally found one. Chelsea met us there. And then we eventually went back to Redmond, had dinner there. And let's see, Monday flew back. By flew back, I mean flew back to San Francisco, where I am now.
Yeah. Wild. Gosh, that light experience sounds so fun. I want to find one this summer, or sorry, this winter.
Yeah, it was cool. It was kind of underwhelming from what the advertisement showed it as, but I don't know. It was a fun thing to do, basically.
Yeah, there's an event. There was an event. I don't know if it was a temporary thing, but like somewhere up north between here and Slow, some artist put lights in the fields. So it's like a digital poppy bloom, but you saw it at night. I don't know if it's still a thing, but I kick myself for not having seen it when the hype was there.
Yeah, I remember seeing pictures of that. It would have been sweet. Looks sweet.
Yeah. Another thing, this is super, super controversial, actually. Where do you fall on Christmas music and Thanksgiving? So with Ashley's friends in town, they wanted to listen to Christmas music while we made pancakes on Sunday morning. And I am strongly against that because we still haven't had Thanksgiving.
They're like, not in my house. We're not here. We're not doing
that. Not in my house. If you want to listen to Christmas music, you can go out in the front yard. Yeah, so that's where I stand. No Christmas tree until after Thanksgiving, obviously. But Christmas music is a little more flexible, right?
Yeah, I think post Thanksgiving is when the time should be. But it seems like after Halloween is over with, Christmas starts to invade. And yeah, this definitely on the radio and Oregon and like around here now, you hear Christmas music on like every third channel.
It's so brutal. There's already Christmas lights up in the neighborhood. Like, what? We need to get some sort of decoration and theme music going for Turkey Day.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lose my Turkey Day football and food coma. It's
I imagine you dressing up, you know how people dress up like Santa Claus. You could dress up like a pilgrim. You have like your pilgrim outfit and you got a giant like inflatable blow up turkey in your yard.
It's fun. Yeah. Like instead, that has legs. What if we have like, you know, that dinosaur costume that's inflatable and the little arms?
I love those.
Get one of those, but as a turkey.
Giant turkey, that'd be awesome. And then just like run up and down State Street.
No. Yeah, with like a boombox. Just
well, what's Thanksgiving music? What did even harvest music? What's harvest music?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm imagining folk-esque. Maybe a couple, maybe Radio Keys can help us out and come up with some a Thanksgiving album. Don't they have a Christmas album out there that they like don't want people to know about?
Speaking of Radio Keys, they're playing a show in San Francisco this Saturday. So we're going to go and watch them.
That's awesome. How cool. I miss the Radio Keys shows.
Yeah, I'm stoked.
And the whole band should be there, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Gosh, how epic.
The whole band's back together. The wedding crew.
I know, the squad. All right. Should we hop into fantasy football stuff?
Hell yeah. Do you have anything to atone for this week?
No, I'm an innocent little angel. I was on best behavior with my accusatory things.
Accusations.
We had a dad bet.
Yeah, I know. I put that there. I lost the dad bet. I put it under the atonement section because it's kind of like the atonement / bets section. At least that's where I've been throwing the bets. Although it doesn't really count as an atonement. It's a completely separate thing. But yes, Pebbles did beat Max. And so I now must become a father.
Sorry, Chels. The terms were binding. You know, I know fantasy's pretty random, but it was worth it. I was very confident at the time.
The guys loved it. At least Weaver, Bill, and I loved it. So
the schedule, the matchup, yeah, sorry.
I'd say Bill and I were cracking up all weekend about it. And each time we brought it up, the gals liked it less and less. They did not find it as hilarious as we did for some reason. I don't know why. But yeah, I'll shot TBD next time I get my hands on some liqueur. I'll send the video in the group.
That sounds good. Yeah, Sunday when you're with is it just Evan, maybe Adam?
Sunday, Evan and Adam confirmed, or at least communicated with Stu. Not sure what his availability is. Hopefully, at least Evan and Adam.
Stu sleeps till around noon post Radio Key shows on football Sundays.
So. That's very true. It is Saturday, Sunday. Yeah. Well, yes, the boys will be had.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll wait for my video till Sunday. That's fine.
Perfect. Yeah. So data. We got some data to discuss. Scott sent us a giant spreadsheet where he crunched a bunch of numbers, tons of different categories related to Pebbles Ask and last week's mailbag that was like, find out historical, I don't even know what it was, fab expenditure or something, or all-time win-loss. But anyway, I think we can send this out to the larger group after this podcast, but do you have any things that you want to specifically discuss or jump out at you from this data set?
I'm devastated by this data set because it confirms everybody's greatest fear, except for it's just for me, in that I am the worst fantasy player in our league. It's crazy.
So what stat are you looking at? The average rank?
Yeah,
all time.
technically, me and Evan are tied for the Sacco of the tacos of the league. But yeah, that was devastating to see. I don't know how we are worse than O'Malley with his like multiple toilet bowls. That's brutal. Ebird, his lowest finish is 11th, but so he must have multiple in 11th place or like just 10, 10, 11. Anyways,
Yeah.
that's tough. That's a tough takeaway. That, when I saw that, I just like my interest in this spreadsheet really.
You're like, I don't want to look at this data anymore. Yeah. Well, yeah, there's some fun things. So it's running through the categories. And I'm not going to like say everything, but we have, ranks, modern era. We have win totals, averages, min and max, losses, points for, points against, fab spent, and moves made. So highlighting some of those, for instance, they have max wins. So highest wins for everybody in a season. Stu 11, O'Malley 9, Brad 9, Bacon 10, Pebs 11, Bill 11, Colin 9, Weaver 9, Scott 9, Evan 10, Max 8, Adam 10. Minimum wins for everybody. Stu 2, Sean 4, Brad 5, Tyler 3, Pebs 4, Bill 5, Colin 4, Weaver 5th, Scott 2, or 5, not 5 for Weaver, 2 for Scott, 2 for Evan, 1 for Max, and 3 for Adam.
1-win season. That's tough.
Yeah, at least everyone will escape that fate this year.
And yet he's still better ranking overall than me.
Let's see what else we got. We have fab spent. So average fab, this is fun. So Stu spends an average of 95, O'Malley 90.8, Brad 85.1, Bacon 98.1, Pebbles 95.6, Bill 83.6, Colin 98.3, Weaver 94.3. Scott's average is 47.5. Evan's average 89.5. Max's average also pretty low, 68.3. And then Adam also is up there at 98.8.
Yeah, that's fun. I mean, we roast Scott very often for his fab usage. Still better than me. So no. One thing that I would like to highlight here, we've always talked about how Max has the most points against, and he has the lead in the maximum points against for a season, which is 1,700. So we're not like that far off base. He also leads the league in average points against, which is just fun.
He has the highest all time and the highest average.
Yeah. So it's just a thing. Whenever you're playing Max, your team shows up.
Let's see, who has the lowest points against average?
It's got to be Bill.
Bill's at 1374. I'm at 1393. Weaver, you're at 1387. So the three of us actually are the three people who have the lowest average points against. It goes
no excuse for being as
Bill,
bad
Weaver,
as
Colin.
No.
Anyway, there's a lot of good stuff on here. I'm going to shoot it out in the group meet because I found it pretty interesting. And thank you, Scott, for compiling all that.
Yeah, definitely.
Some research I did on my own today was toughest rivals. So we have 3 weeks left in the season. We got 3 weeks of rivals now with the extra game. A lot of people are vying for playoff spots. Evan locked his in finally. So fuck you, Evan. But second place and ninth place are separated by 2 wins. So basically what I did is I took everyone's current rank or their rivals ranks and then the average. So the softest remaining schedule belongs leaps and bounds away to O'Malley. The average place of his rivals is 9.67 out of 12. He gets Pebs, Max, and Bacon these last 3 weeks, which is unfortunate for me because of my bet with O'Malley and because, I mean, he's in my way of getting to the playoffs, so I'm going to get there. And I mean, Scott and Pebbles and yourself and even Brad too, maybe a little concerned, I think, with O'Malley's rivals these next 3 weeks. Followed by Pebbles has a soft schedule. Oh, no, excuse me. Weaver, you have a soft schedule. You got myself, Adam, and Bill. So that's averaging at 8.67. Bill also has a 8.67 average rival place with Adam, Bacon, and you, actually.
I think that my strength of schedule should be a little bit lower based off of Bill's projected points, as pointed out today. Just because he's in whatever. I mean, he's been dealing with injuries and they're all back. And now he's back at full strength.
Yeah, he's a scary contender.
Mm-hmm.
Most difficult last 3 weeks in terms of average rank or place of rivals. The average for me is 4.3. I got Weave, Scott, and Evan. Pebbles has 4.67 with O'Malley, Stu, and Brad. And Brad also has 4.67 with Scott, Evan, and Pebbles. So looking at the crystal ball into the future, Bill, Weave, and O'Malley have a nice schedule to set up their run to the playoffs, whereas Brad, Pebbles, and myself have the most difficult road to get there. And that's not even including record or points for.
It's fun. That's some good old-fashioned hard earned, worked for research right there. That's, you're a superstar.
Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I think it's funny that I am included in your schedule, which is the hardest, but I'm also included in Bill's schedule, which is amongst the easiest remaining. I'm on the line, my team doesn't know if it's good or bad.
Right. Yeah, it is funny. It's just like we were talking about something related to this last week. And basically, because we're all so like close, it's like it's basically everybody's is almost the same. Except if like you're playing Max or Bacon, you have an easier route than if you're playing like Evan or Stu.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still even scared. I lost to Max, so Max is no slouch of a team. On paper, it's a good team. I think at this point, really only Adam, his team is the most beat up currently. So he's the only team that I'm like excited to match up against.
Yeah, Bill, you, and Scott are the three people who get to play Adam.
Us lucky ducks.
Moving on. So we do actually have some listener questions this week. Weaver, I will throw to you. First listener question. This comes from Evan and Alice. Who in the league will be the last one to play Ultimate in any capacity? Even pickup would count. So I guess the last person to play Ultimate Frisbee before we all die.
Yeah. I think, well, you are my top choice, though moving to San Diego really brings that into question because I don't know what the pickup scene is like in San Diego. Let's see, half the league has already quit. Evan, I don't know what the Twins are going to do for his Ultimate career. He's already taken the season off from mischief. Max is sneaky involved in Frisbee. He and Kelly were playing beach pickup before, maybe even after Liam, but now they got 2 munchkins, so that's probably going to come to an end.
Yeah, he's trying to get the band back together, a third team all region for layout.
Wow. Max is a sneaky play here. He's my sleeper pick for sure. I think I gotta go I think I gotta go with you still. I think you're gonna find a way. I think you still got the burn, the desire. You're playing so much disc golf, still honing the skills.
Yeah, I think it's a good guess. I think it would be between one of us, honestly, with your coaching, the Ninos. And I think in this capacity, this question that counts. So if your coaching goes on into the future.
Yeah, geez. Huge update on that, by the way. Just gonna intersect.
Yeah.
We had 19 kids show up to practice last Thursday. It was awesome. Yeah,
Wow.
I know. The biggest numbers. I leave to Spain, I come back, all of a sudden I'm coaching 19 kids, like up 10. And we were missing a couple of our regulars too. So it should have been like 23. Super fun, totally different vibe coaching that many kids all at once and trying to normally I'm trying to figure out what the hell to do with like 9 kids for 2 hours, right?
Mm-hmm.
Trying to improvise a plan for 19. That's it was fun.
Do you feel like you can do more though? Like
100%. Yeah. I mean, this is the first time we actually had 7 versus 7 scrimmage in almost my entire coaching span, 2-3 years. So that was awesome. I didn't even know what the dimensions of a normal field are. So my perspective is all skewed because I've been playing on AUDL fields. And so
are you sure you've played this game, coach?
Yeah, totally. We had some high school football players come out and they were just on they brought an intensity that was just like borderline unsafe compared to some of the non-athletes, it's nice when you're coaching a bunch of non-athletes because they're all being goobers together, but when you add that next layer, it makes things a little bit more interesting and a little bit more scary because they go hard.
They bring it.
Real athletes, yeah, they go hard, and my kids are still learning how to run, which is crazy. But
those guys gonna stick around, you think?
They had so much fun, and just like we did with Tide back in the day, you find those players and you make them feel good, right? So I pulled them aside and we were throwing hucks to them, right? Just making them feel like this game is fun and we can be really good at it. So I think that they're interested in sticking around. As of right now, they were just killing time waiting for track season to start up. And I think that we pair well with track. So we'll see.
Cool.
Yeah, it was huge, man. It was so cool. Whew.
Next listener question, also from Ev. Evan asks, how do you like the extra game in this season with respect to making or missing the playoffs? Previously, it was unknown whether you would need 6 or 7 wins, but now it's very likely to be the point total between 7 and 7 teams.
Damn. Yeah. The extra game. One of the things that I dislike about the extra game is it seems like more teams are going with timeshare options and resting their studs a little bit more often. And Derrick Henry was the king because he was the workhorse, and it seems like workhorses are very few and far between nowadays. It's Najee, Derrick Henry, CMC, even Saquon. He is hit or miss because of his injuries. I think Austin Eckler maybe is a workhorse, but yeah, it's kind of crazy. All of the timeshares. So I don't know. I think that's the biggest vibe that I'm beefing with the extra game this season. It feels more noticeable to me, and it could just be all in my imagination. This could be completely normal with one less game, but that's what I'm beefing with the most. So I mean, I would love to be in the playoffs right now with 6 wins, but I feel like I'm on my way out of the playoffs with this extra game. So I think we stop the vote right now.
Yeah, I like the extra game because it keeps more people involved in that extra week. It just seems like anything could happen still, it feels like, I mean, there's still 5 spots there up for grabs.
Yeah.
I definitely hear you with the timeshares more. I mean, NFL teams are not stupid, and they see the game is violent. They want to keep their studs as healthy as possible. I also would have thrown Kamara on that list of workhorses, and he's somebody else who's like banged up right now. So yeah, definitely seems like teams are being more careful with their players. And yeah, because of that, fantasy becomes a little more of a crapshoot than it already is.
Yeah. I want to revisit the last question real quick. Something just came to mind. Did you see the AUDL video game Kickstarter that happened?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Gosh, part of me, like, I mean, I love video games, right? And so like, I want to be in this video. How often do you get a chance to be in a video game as a player? Like what? So like, I kind of want to like mount my comeback just so I can be in a video game. That's so insane.
It is crazy to think that it would be super cool. I'm unsure as that like how it's going to be, like even if they're going to have player likenesses or if it's just going to be like the NCAA football games were, right? Where just a bunch of like random dudes, like they're not actually using real people, because you get into like privacy and like whatever contracts that people would sign. Like, I don't know. I'd have to go back and actually look at the player contract for the AUDL, because I know they have like any like picture taken of you as a property of the AUDL, and any, whatever, when you're traveling, you're representing the AUDL on the team and like yada, yada, yada. But I don't know if there was like a clause that said AUDL can unilaterally use your likeness, your name, all of that for their own like personal benefit in video game. Like that seems like kind of a stretch, something that people would like revolt about. So I don't know, until I like see it, like, oh, here's Ben Yacht, here's Rowan McDonald, here's Sean McDougal, here's Travis Dunn, like in an actual video game. Like I don't know if that'll happen.
That's a good point. And then my comeback would be for nothing.
Except for the greater LA area would rejoice as one of their own makes a triumphant return.
Yeah. I don't know. This couch is pretty comfortable. The only reason I make my comeback is so I could sit on the couch and
play yourself.
Yeah.
Dude, the graphics are looking a little rough in that game. I don't know what kind of resources they're working with, but it's I don't know. I think the people who would be interested in playing that game would only be because they absolutely love Ultimate and not because it's like a good game, basically.
Yeah. For me, I think as long as the physics like work out well, like the gameplay itself, like I've played stick figure games that are super fun, just because the gameplay itself is fine, like graphics. Usually that's what comes last, right? Like you focus mostly on gameplay, physics, all that stuff first. So they're probably like trying to fund better likenesses of the players.
That's true. There is like this Kickstarter, give us money, we need it. So maybe it's like, we'll take this money and make it better.
Yeah, but it looked intriguing. We'll see. It's cool. Sorry.
No, that was great. I definitely
1 step forward, 2 steps back.
I would love to play as myself and throw some bombs. That'd be sweet.
Yeah, heck yeah. That'd be great.
Last mailbag question. This one comes from Scotty via the GroupMe. Scott says, when looking at the modern era, are rank standings more important than wins or points for? I.e., what stats other than championships or Sackos come into play when evaluating an opponent or rival strength of schedule on a historical level? I like this question because nobody remembers who got fifth every year, right? Or like, for instance, like Scott and I were talking about the stats, and he was shocked that my lowest finish ever was seventh. But like, it doesn't matter, right? Because you remember who's won it all and who's lost it all. And then we have some memes along the way, like the fourth place fedora. But otherwise, you know, year to year, teams change. I mean, I guess some remain constant, like Bill always being in the finals. But I think the people that are on the trophies, which we still don't know who won last season because they're not on the trophy, those are the people that get the most notoriety. Like, for instance, it's like, oh, Stu won. He's going to be a tough opponent. Or, oh, Adam got the Sacko. He's going to be not as tough an opponent, right? Like that's, or like the O'Malley joke. O'Malley's won the Sacko 3 times. He's a pushover, but like, you know, it's not always true. So I think that's what matters most is trophy cases, both for the championship and the Sacko.
Yeah.
Oh, and of course, the Hall of Fame drinking champions, which win the one drinking event every year.
Yeah. I agree with you. I think, I mean, we love to scapegoat points against and points for like how your season is doing or should be going for sure. Like, gosh, seeing that I have like top 3, or I guess bottom 3 points against in the league historically, despite being one of the worst finishers, like, oh, that means I'm tragically bad, you know. But I always feel like I'm on the cusp. Like, I think that I'm always, just speaking from my own historical perspective, I feel like I'm always the first person out of the playoffs, like the one that misses the wild card spot.
Yep.
Every season. I feel like I'm always in the hunt and just always get dicked over, usually by Scott, actually. So, yeah, I think all the numbers, I mean, it's fantasy. All the numbers are just blur. Like, the only thing that we truly remember is titles, and that Max always has the most points against. That's for sure. Yeah, I agree.
Cool. Well, thanks for the questions, Buckaroos. Next,
Seriously, yeah. Shout out to the users that are to the listeners that are engaged,
the subscribers, the Patreon, you know, subscription plans going straight to our coffers.
Our premium OnlyFans subscribers. You guys make what we do so much better, and we appreciate you.
If you don't subscribe to our premium OnlyFans, we actually have a Black Friday deal, 25% off. Use the code ThePeoplesPod2021 to redeem.
Oh my gosh! Speaking of Black Friday, I've gotten a bunch of I signed up for I don't know, a bunch of random Wi-Fi's while abroad, right? And so now I'm getting a bunch of Spanish spam emails, and it's super funny. Half of them are titled Black Week instead of Black Friday. 25% off. I don't know if it's a loss in translation thing or if they're just fuck it, this whole week is
sales.
Yeah. But I saw that shit and it just cracked me up. It's Black Week, 25% off.
It's 2021, people.
I know. We're Spaniards.
Okay, next section. We got the League Picks leaderboard. Thank you, Adam, for all the work you were doing in the GroupMe today. I think that is actually a little more illuminating than what I've been keeping track for. But basically, according to Adam's spreadsheet, he has it locked in. Bacon and Pebbles, if they got every single pick correct from here on out, they could eclipse Adam. But basically, it looks like the rest of us are screwed. So Adam's coming in. Yeah, I mean, he's currently at 60%. The next closest person is Bacon with 54 and Pebbles with 52. So I guess this section really is turning into Adam. What type of fifth of whiskey do you want all of us to pitch in for?
Man, I think it's so remarkable how successful he is at picking. It's like you should take your talents to Vegas. Let's fund. Speaking of an idea for what to use our league funds on, let's fund DFS for Adam because he clearly has a talent for picking. Maybe it's just specific to our league, but I'd be down to invest in him.
It's his captain hindsight ability. Is well, I guess hindsight for his own team, but picking for everybody else's team.
Yeah, I'm really happy that he's got this going for him. It's been a rough season for you, Adam.
Yeah, and speaking of rough season, why don't we review last week and then get these picks for next week?
Yes.
Quickly going through it, everybody picked Bill to beat me. That one was not particularly close as many players on my team didn't show up, and Bill put up the second highest score of the week. Next, we had Pebbles and Max. This is the dad off where Bill and I picked Max. Weaver picked Pebbles and Pebbles won. After that, we have Bacon playing Adam. This was a 10v12 matchup. Bill picked Bacon. I picked Bacon. You picked Adam, and Bacon won.
That's tough.
Next, we had O'Malley versus Evan, matchup of the week. Even though Eckler had a valiant effort, all three of us picked Evan to win. Actually, everybody who made a pick picked Evan to win, much like everyone picked Bill to win. And this week, the pick'em curse did not land either of those teams.
Wow. I think just like O'Malley said in GroupMe, at this point, the curse is aware that we're trying to curse players. And so it has to truly be like the belief has to truly be there, and not that we're anti-cursing the curse.
Or we have to have another curse on top of the curse.
Ooh.
Instead of the anti-curse, it's the curse, double curse.
Team cursey.
Next matchup, we had Stu and Scott. Everyone loves this matchup. Unfortunate for Stu, Scott came out on top. And I think we all picked Scott to win that one as well. Yes, we did.
Wow. Oh, yeah, because it was the Rams bye week. That's why.
Yep. You played Brad. Coin flip matchup. Bill took Brad. You took Weave. And what did I do? I took Weave. And Weave lost.
Yeah, that was rough.
Brad's team went off.
High score. I got high scored. I got dunked on. New England starting off with a 28 spot Thursday night.
Crazy.
Should have just stopped caring then. You know what's even worse was my team, like through the first half of the morning games, my team was putting up points. Like Brad and I were talking, he's like, man, we're in a brawl. Like, yeah, wow, we really are. Like I didn't expect it, but here we are. We're both projected to score 130. And then the second half of the morning games, just nothing happened. Meanwhile, yeah. Anyways.
Yep. I had a similar thing with Bill. We were watching on Sunday morning together, and there was like a point where I took the hand lead, and then our Bush was like within 10 points or so. And like in those situations, it's like, oh, if his players underperform and my players perform as they're doing, I could get a win. And then, yeah, same thing. My luck petered out, and his team just fucking went off.
Yeah.
Week 12 preview. Okay, so we're doing some fun buckaroos. I went back and listened to the very first podcast of the 2021 season where we picked these matchups because it was the first game of the season. And so I wanted to compare what our thoughts were from that first podcast on the matchup to our thoughts are this matchup and this week. So it's going to try not to take forever with this one, but why don't we start with Pebbles and O'Malley. So revisiting Pebbles and O'Malley from what we said in the first podcast. We compared James Robinson and Corey Davis as flexes and how Robinson was a stronger flex. Side note, Corey Davis is now on O'Malley's team, which is pretty fun. Additionally, we were giving OBJ a ton of love as he was going to have like a bounce back breakout campaign, and that really hasn't panned out. And both of us picked O'Malley to win that first matchup, and Pebbles actually won 146.84 to 93.88. So large margin.
Money. Oh, did he? Let's see. No. Wow. Bill won the money with 157. That's fucking brutal. Some high scores this year. Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
Good stuff. I'm juiced on this segment.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to go back. And actually, after everything, I have a few other just like thoughts from the first podcast that are fun to revisit. But anyway, we both picked O'Malley last time and Pebbles won. So who are you taking this time around?
Let me check real quick. It's on. I didn't write it down this week. I just used the pick'em because I didn't want to like have any more kerfuffles. I went with Menage a Trois. Menage a Trois.
Wow. What's your notes for it? What's your notes?
The downside of not writing down my picks.
You got no notes?
Don't have any notes. Let's see.
Yeah, looking at the matchup, what are you feeling?
What do I got? Ooh, Dalvin Cook versus a stingy San Francisco defense. Don't like that one. Damian Harris versus a stingy Tennessee defense. Don't like that one.
Who this lost to the Texans last week.
Oh, yeah. What a nightmare that was. Tyler Lockett. Apparently, the Seahawks are just a dumpster fire of a team now on offense.
Yeah.
So,
dude, imagine if you didn't have Hurts.
I know. I would be a Sacko favorite for sure. I don't know what I would do if I would be stringing quarterbacks. Anyways, O'Malley's team, Waddle with Tua is very solid. Gallup, never liked him, never will, but Amari's out, so he might be serviceable. Corey Davis. What's wrong with O'Malley's receiving core? Oh, he's not starting Odell, Galladay. Claypool.
Yeah, or Claypool. I don't know. I kind of feel like this is not. See, this is the thing I'm picking on Tuesday. This cannot be the final lineup. Like waivers are happening tonight. I'd be shocked if Claypool is not in that lineup. At least I could see Beckham maybe not making it in there because I don't know. But maybe it'd be stupid because it had a whole 2 weeks to learn the playbook and Woods is out. And like you're gonna really trot out freaking Corey Davis above Beckham. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I also picked O'Malley to win this one. And I did mention Gallup because the Dallas receivers are banged up. Yeah, Cooper's definitely missing. Lamb is like 50-50 right now with concussion. Cam is making a start, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think the Pebbles Vikings, he has both Cousins and Cook versus his Niners. So that's kind of a fun game within a game we get to watch. And Mark Andrews has been phenomenal, even in a game where the Ravens score 16 points and he didn't score a touchdown. He still had 8 receptions for 73 yards. So I'm taking O'Malley as well.
Yeah. This is a fun matchup. This is a good one. I like both of these teams.
Agreed. Next, why don't we do the 11 and 12? We got He Rides the Bench 500 miles versus Hooked on Stephonics Works for Me. Revisiting the first time we talked about this one, we talked about Max's rookies and how we didn't know how to feel about them or how to trust them. We talked about Myles Gaskin on Bacon's team and how we both liked that pick and thought that he was going to have a breakout year. We both took Bacon to win, and Bacon did win 135.68 to 128.7. So in a close matchup, Bacon got the victory first go around.
That's so fun. I'm going with Bacon again this week, and it's because Maxwell's team is just in a rough spot. It's not good when your receiving core includes DeAndre Carter. Had to look up his first name. That's how bad it is. I know DeAndre Carter is running like an absurd number of routes opposite Scary Terry, but it just really hasn't panned out for fantasy relevance. Jacoby Myers, New England's receivers, bleh. Miles Sanders is kind of like the scariest fantasy player on the planet Earth, in my opinion. Like somehow Jordan Howard may have already scored more fantasy points than him in 3 weeks. Naeem Hines and Devin Singletary, like at this point, Max is just white flagging, like just bad luck. Michael Carter injured, Chase Edmonds injured. Logan Thomas should be coming back, so we may see a double tight end start here. But yeah, I'm going Baco.
I'm taking Max.
You're crazy. You're out of your skull. What are you drinking?
I'm taking him. Nothing. I'm drinking H2O, baby. I've never seen more clear in my life.
You're out of your skull.
No. I had a tough time with this one because there are buys. Bacon's got some buys going on this week, right? Ertz had a huge game and helped Bacon get that win last week. AJ Green's on a buy. And Kamara is very doubtful to play. So I think what we got in Bacon's lineup is what we're going to get. I kind of have a feeling that Pitts is going to break out against Jacksonville. He's been very quiet the last few weeks. And I definitely agree with your diagnosis of Max's team. And it's weird to pick Max to win on a week that he doesn't have Tyreek Hill. But I think for all the questions that Max has, Bacon equally has that same amount of questions. AJ Brown is banged up and might not play. And if he does, at what capacity? I mean, Van Jefferson is Bacon's wide receiver 3. I don't know. I got a feeling Max is going to pull this one out.
Yeah, I can see it. I can see the path. Ugh. Neither of these teams is enjoying their fantasy season.
Oh yeah, now they're playing for not last, basically.
Yeah.
Next matchup, we got Stu versus Evan. This is a 1v2 matchup. Evan actually was saying earlier in the year that he's had a bunch of 1v2 matchups. I think he's played like Bill before when they were 1 and 2, and somebody else. It was you? Oh, you were 2 at a time? Oh, geez.
I was either 2 or 3. Yeah. Me. And he's just chopping us all off. As we're coming from, he's just kicking us back down the table.
Yeah. Wow. We'll get into our title picks in a few weeks, but it'll be fun to predict Evan as a first round exit. In any case, revisiting our first matchup with Stu and Evan, ton of Thursday night action for Evan in that first game, the Buccaneers versus the Cowboys. We were talking shit on all the weather that Evan's players were going to be experiencing, like looking down his little list of players, and they all had like a storm cloud or a rain cloud or something. It's like everybody except for one person is getting rained on. And for Stu, we were talking shit on Jamar Chase and Trey Sermon, those picks that he had. And Evan ended up winning handily 154.02 to 110.6. And we both picked Stu to win that game.
Wow. Do you remember draft day? Evan didn't even have a computer, and he was like getting triggered that other people weren't helping him make his picks. Like, I can't believe that this is working out so well. Is the magazine clearly the magazine isn't the correct route?
He had the phone. He was on his phone.
On his phone. Yeah. That was just fucking incredible. Incredible that your team is doing so well. Fantasy is fickle.
Who you got?
I'm going with the hot hand. I'm going with the undisputed regular season leader. Everything that he touches turns to gold. And I'm super thankful that he picked up Brandon Ayuk because the Niners are doing much better with him contributing. I think Elijah Moore takes a big hit with Zach Wilson coming back now that Joe Flacco and Mitch White are both on the COVID list. But Mark Ingram may not play. If that's the case, then Stu's probably going to start Hender Dog.
Yep.
But he starts Hender Dog, then he starts Ty Johnson at his flex. Oof. Yeah, I'm going with Evan here. He's unstoppable right now.
I am doing the same. I think that this is a tough one to call, especially because Stu is getting his Rams and Lamar Jackson back. And then, we just touched on Ty Johnson being the Jets starter. Who knows if that actually means anything. But they are playing the Texans. The Texans have been not the best team this year, so definitely some points to be had. Also, Evan is going to be without Kelsey this week, so he's going to be trotting out Evan Ingram, which I actually heard on the Fantasy Focus Football podcast this morning that the Eagles are god-awful against tight ends and that Kyle Rudolph, who's the Giants' other tight end, is injured. So hypothetically, Evan Ingram is in a good spot. Now, he hasn't really produced this year at all. He has 236 receiving yards on 28 receptions for 2 touchdowns. But who knows? There is a path, like you just said, to Evan Ingram getting some points.
Jason Garrett got fired today, so that's useful.
Yeah, we'll see how Big Man Kitchens does in that OC position. I'm picking Evan, even though Stu's lineup is not finalized. There's going to be a lot of shifting, like you talked about. He's a kicker. He's going to get Hender Dog back in there, and Lamar, and even Higgleberry is going to be in there too. I feel like Evan's players are under Bush a little bit, like Ayuk, for instance, and even like Swift has been so good. Looking at Evan's team with Swift and Mixon back to back is insane. Like Mixon has scored in 4 straight games. He has 6 touchdowns in 4 games.
Yeah.
The last 4 games. It's just insane. And then Freeman has been really good. Again, kicking myself. I dropped him with all my injuries. In any case, Evan, I think is going to take this one. Although, fun observation, the Bills put up -4 on defense last week. And so I'm curious to see if he makes a change, even though they have a relatively high Bush for a defensive player.
Yeah, that was shocking. Are the Bills garbage now? What happened?
It kind of seems like they're garbage.
I know that I saw a tweet that they lost their starting right tackle. And since that's happened, things have gone sideways. But it's crazy.
They lost the Jaguars and then just got destroyed at home against the Colts. So,
yeah, that was fun. Actually, I was watching that game with a Colts fan. So that was kind of cool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
On my flight back from Redmond, I sat down. Some dude walked down the aisle in a Colts hat and sat in front of me. The guy opposite him was like, "Hey, how you feel about getting rid of Phillip Rivers?" And I just was like, and the Colts fan was like, "Hey, he did pretty well for a guy that couldn't move." And then the dude that said that was like, I can't really give it that much shit. I'm a Niners fan. And then these guys are like going back and forth about their teams and how Brady like wanted to go to the Niners and retire, but they said no. And then he went and won a Super Bowl somewhere else and all that back and forth. But the initial thing was like, is the guy about to shit talk Rivers in front of me? Am I going to have to like jump in here? Do I even want to get involved in this conversation? Not really, but like, we'll see what comes out of this guy's mouth.
That's awesome.
I ended up saying nothing, but there's a timeline where I did say something.
Yeah. How fun.
Next matchup, we're going Bill and Adam, revisiting the first time we talked about this. We talked about Adam starting Sutton and where that even came from. Got to be starting Sutton. Yep, that was on there. I talked about not liking Gordon, Melvin Gordon in his flex position, given the rise of Williams, the rookie. And we also talked about the Calvin Ridley pick and how he was poised to have a big year. We also mentioned how Adam had a ton of potential good flex replacements for Melvin Gordon, those being Brandon Ayuk, no longer on Adam's team, Henry Ruggs, no longer on Adam's team, actually not on anyone's team. Nelson Aguilar also was mentioned, no longer on Adam's team. This is a bunch of potential flexes that could fill in admirably, but ended up not really contributing to Adam's success. Talked about CMC being unstoppable for Bill and how the Waller pick was good. You picked Bill. I picked Bill. You picked Adam. And Bill won 157.96 and 90.58.
Yeah, big mistake from me there.
So who you got this week?
I will not, fool me once. Shame on you. Fool me twice. No siree. I'm going with the starting RB store this time around. Gosh, just it's like going through opening a time capsule and looking at our old selves and our old projections and thoughts, and like what a fun matchup, Debo versus Ayuk, right? Like Debo was the old news. He was the old reliable, but Ayuk was the new girl around the block, and everybody had eyes on Ayuk, and how wrong we were.
Yeah, I'm also taking Bill in this one. As we mentioned earlier, Bill's team is at full strength and very scary now. Even freaking Debo, right? He had one reception on 2 targets for 15 yards last Sunday, but he also had 8 rushing attempts for 79 yards and a touchdown. It's so funny watching Bill because Bill's like, Debo should get the RB tag. Why doesn't Debo have the RB tag? And I'm like, it wouldn't matter if he did. You're not going to play him in the running back spot anyway.
Yeah. But, I mean, it is a good point. Like, how does Cordarrelle Patterson have it and not Debo at this point?
Right. My notes on Adam's team is he's got a lot of moves to make. He's been talking about how he picked up those receivers and then they died. So they'll be replaced. He needs a new kicker as Butker Billy Newards on a bye. Talking about those Cowboys receivers earlier, if both Cooper and Lamb are unable to play, that probably means that Zeke is going to have a larger workload. And if the Cowboys start putting up some points on the Raiders have not looked that good in the last few games. Maybe the game script naturally will allow for Zeke to have a big game.
Yeah, though Zeke's been splitting carries a lot with Tony Pollard, and Zeke has been hurt.
That is true. There was that scare.
He's working through something right now. So if it's garbage time, I see Pollard taking all of those carries, which naturally, of course, Evan has Pollard. So that makes, complete sense.
One bright spot on Adam's team is the Chicago defense. They scored 9 points against the Ravens, shorthanded Ravens, this last week, and 11 against Pittsburgh in the week 9 before their bye. And now they get to play Detroit Lions on Turkey Day. So could be in line for a double-digit production out of that defense there.
Yeah, that's fun.
But yeah, we're both taking Bill.
Bill's team is crazy. Once Aaron Jones comes back, he's not going to be able to play. Well, maybe he'll be able to play AJ Dillon, but Hunter Renfrow, AJ Dillon as your flex. Living the dream.
Can't talk about Bill without talking about Adrian Peterson and how he was cut today with the Titans.
I know. Love that.
God, I was so mad at Bill for winning that bid, and now I'm so happy that he did win that bid.
I will say I'm happy that it happened to a team that is doing really well and not like a desperation bid from a team that really needed help.
That's true. Like me.
That
was me.
Yeah. So thankfully, the rich didn't get richer in this one instance.
Next, we got the Landry Down Under versus Team Jiggy Jiggy. Throwing it back to week 1. I mentioned how I thought Scott's running backs in Swift and Jones would carry him, as well as obviously JTT and Kyler. We talked at length about Saquon's health and how it was shocking that Brad took him at number 4 in the draft, and we weren't sold on that. And you mentioned that you really liked Scott's team. I picked Scott to win that one. You picked Scott to win that one. And Scott won 135.46 to 133.28. Less than 2 points in that one.
It's a Justin Tucker field goal.
Which is crazy when you look at, the league today. Brad is sitting at 6-5 and Scott is at 5-6. And that very easily could have been a 7-4 Brad, who then would be in second place, and a 4-7 Scott, who then would be in 9th place.
Yeah, wild.
So who you got this week?
I'm going with Jiggy Jiggy. He's on a hot streak right now. His wide receiver core is significantly better than Scott's, despite the recent moves to make them better. James Conner is on a bye along with Kyler. Not that Kyler's played. That hurts. I don't think Antonio Brown is back yet. I don't think Aaron Jones is back yet. Scott really could use both of them. If they were both back and healthy, then I would change my vote to Scott. But I think Team Jiggy Jiggy takes this away. I think that Saquads has a rough day against Philly. And, oh, man, Mike Williams, he boomed me, but I think he goes back to his not boomy ways. Here, Team Jiggy Jiggy is going to limp into a victory here. I might regret it, and I may have to atone for this, but I think that Brad's team is overall better this week for sure.
We've put atonement on the line. To revisit that next week. I'm also taking Brad in this one. I think it's another fun matchup. A lot of fun matchups this week. Basically, 5 of 6 matchups are pretty fun this week. Will Cordell Patterson be back? Question mark. That guy has been booming all year for Brad. So if he is back, that'll help. Probably doesn't matter, though. I think that Brad's got some options. The Rams are coming back for him, so he's getting Kupp and Stafford back. Also currently has Hawk and Cock on the bench, who I know has been hard to trust. But if Patterson can't play, Hawkinson goes back in there. Hawkinson is coming off of a 6-reception, 51-yard game to a tune of 8 points. So not great, but not terrible. Scott's team. So literally my note I wrote was Scott's team all of a sudden is thin at running back with Jones out and Connor on a bye. But then I realized that JTT scored 50 points and has 13 touchdowns on the season. And so maybe Scott doesn't even need a second running back. He could just play JTT and be fine with it. He could leave Connor in this lineup on the bye and probably be fine. What else? Oh, and Mike Evans has 10 touchdowns on the season. That's also insane. Like, that's some good ass production. I also am curious if President Mike is back. I mean, he had that giant 51-yard touchdown at the end of the game, which is obviously a huge play. So Chargers are playing in an important divisional game against the Broncos. Chargers had a huge fast start and then kind of sputtered. I think they're like 500 in the last month, or 3-2 or something, maybe even 2-3. Actually, I think they're more like 2-3 or 2-4 in the last month. But it's important for them. So I think they might pull out all the stops, especially with this close game. They just 2 close games actually just had with the Vikings and then with the Steelers. But taking Brad.
Yeah. Interesting note. Brad picked up Cameron Brate just for the Monday night Qs, and he had got called out for having 5 tight ends.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just campaigning again for one less bench spot. He retorted. He texted me. He's like, dude, you've got 6 running backs on your roster. I think I have more. I think I have 7 running backs actually.
Yeah,
which,
take
again,
that.
Too many running backs. There's no reason for me to have all these mediocre Garbo running backs. So everybody should think about one less bench spot.
Dude, I can test, and I think my team, well, obviously, COP, Change Opposition Party, vote Gall, President 2022. But my team last week is a good example of why an extra bench spot is necessary. Because if you look at my bench, literally have Marquise Brown, DeAndre Hopkins, Sterling Shepard all out. Melvin Gordon, Noah Fant on a bye, Julio Jones, IR, and then second quarterback Justin Fields. So I had one person that was eligible to play, not in my lineup, and that one person was a quarterback.
And
I needed, if I didn't have an extra spot, then I would have had to drop somebody. I mean, I ended up dropping Fields, but I was in a tough spot. I ended up losing. So I had like the thought process, which I think this is a bullshit thought process. It's like, do I just mail this weekend? Like, I literally was like, I was like making moves. Like, I picked up Goddard and I was like, do I even spend money, have money to try and win? Or do I just like mail it in because I'm going to lose? Right. And I was like, I don't want people to just mail it in. And so I think if you take a bench spot away from somebody, it's going to lead to more of those like, well, I'm just fucked. I'm going to mail it.
Yeah. This is one of the pros in my mind, is that it's going to force you to manage a little harder, right? Like, you're going to have to plan your bye weeks a little bit better. And like, O'Malley literally traded away Tony Pollard just for the same purpose with all of our bench spots, right? So for him, like, I think he would love to see more people have that issue, right? Because why did he have to suffer from that one fate? But it is lame when you do have a bunch of injuries like you suffered, Marquise Brown, Hopkins, and Shepard. But at the same time, you got to make moves, right? Like, why do you need to have Shepard and Jones on your team? Like,
I'm looking forward to the future.
Into the consolation bracket.
That's team management for both now and later. But whatever. I didn't explain my decisions. I just think that I would have had a much more stress had I not had. I had one fewer bench spot, and I already was stressed.
Another point to make is that with everybody having one fewer player, the waiver wire is more accessible, and so you're able to pick up maybe a better receiver replacement, and you don't have to hold on to Julio because there's nothing on the waiver wire, because you can pick up randomly. I don't know. We all read those waiver wire articles. They're like, pick up fucking I don't know, Michael Carter. You're just like, what? Like
Rashad Bateman.
Rashad Bateman, yeah. Like he's been gone for weeks, and like I think that now those articles hold a little more relevance to us and our fab budget. Anyways, I'll stop campaigning. Next matchup. Is it us?
Last matchup, that's right. If you recall, in our last evaluation of our first matchup, we campaigned for each other's team so as not to talk shit on each other. We complimented and said reasons why the opponent would win. What you said about my team was that if Julio stayed healthy, then Hopkins, Lamb, and Jones would be the top trio in the league. Now, they have not all stayed healthy, so that's just been a moot point. Rodgers being on a revenge tour after the offseason shenanigans. He's been pretty mundane outside of last week and then maybe one other week. Obviously, the COVID situation is baloney. We talked about your wide receivers and how I thought they would all beat their projections easily, and Judy, Metcalf, and McLaurin, and how your running backs, both Henry and at that point Gus Edwards, were champs, and we had a lot of work, and Henry was unstoppable while he was healthy. And then we got into the Antonio Brown debate where I said he was on my do not draft list, and you said he was on your reach list. And then we made the Robbie Anderson, Antonio Brown bet. Knowing what you know now, would he still be on your reach list, or would he be on a do not draft list?
Gosh. Well, in the games that he's played, he's been pretty freaking excellent. I mean, I think it's super tough to take into consideration injuries like that, right? Like we talk a little bit of shit on Sackos because he is such an injury risk. And I think that's a little bit different than a player like AB, where, I mean, his off the field antics are probably equivalent to an injury risk. So yes, I guess I would, change my reachiness for him. I probably could have waited another 2 rounds maybe, but I mean, I turned him into Jalen Hurts, and
that's very true. That definitely needs to be considered. That actually is amazing because Jalen Hurts is the number 1 quarterback in fantasy now.
Yeah, and honestly, Antonio Brown was a WR1 at the time that I traded him as well. So it was a WR1 for a QB1. Is that better or worse than a WR1 for an RB1? I don't know. Like they both serve purposes, right? Anyways, this was such a glorious start to my season. And I started
talk about Aaron Rodgers' revenge tour. Motherfucker.
I started Philip Lindsay that week. That's insane.
Who now is on the street.
Yeah, hanging out with Adrian Peterson.
So why do you think I'm going to win?
Why do I think you're going to win? Oof. Okay. Well, first and foremost, I get to start Ramondre Stevenson and Deontay Foreman. So that's fun against each other. So if that's a low scoring game, then I'm really sitting pretty. Let's see. Why do I think you're going to win? CD Lamb may play, so that'll be dope for you if he does. Marquise Brown versus Rashad Bateman. That's fun. If Marquise Brown gets a score, that means Bateman does not. And Bateman hasn't scored yet this season. So, the odds are in Browns. The Goddard pickup, that was well played. $10. Great bid. That would have beat the standard $7 for a tight end. Melvin Gordon, he's good for like a solid, 8 to 20 points. So that's nice. I think
It seems like you're struggling
Truthfully, this may be one of the lower scoring matchups of the week, and you have the potential to, I mean, we both have boom potentials, but I think your floor is higher than mine, and I think that that's going to come into play here, and that's how you get the W.
Take note, we have the same bush, and I got no defense right now.
Yeah, well, fuck right off.
But you're going to win because Jalen Hurts seems like he is coming to his own in the last few weeks. I mean, he's got to at least rush for one touchdown against the Giants, if not multiple, right? The Giants are a dumpster fire. The Seahawks, they can't be slumping forever. This very easily could be a Metcalf boom week. I also like the Brown versus Bateman matchup. That's going to be fun. Yeah, to this point in the season, Brown has been hands and away the better receiver, but every single week people are pumping up Bateman because of X, Y, and Z. And so, like, one of these weeks he's going to prove him right, and people are going to go ape shit. And the Muth is a great pickup too. Even though he had a low yardage total this past week, he still found the end zone. And that is another divisional tilt where those teams are both still in it, right? So they're going to be gunning for it. Additionally, Nick Folk is like guaranteed to get at least 9 points, if not more. I mean, he's been a phenomenal pickup, a great kicker pickup for you because there's strategy with kickers, and this has been a good grab.
Thank you, but kickers are garbage. Ebron got hurt, so now it's just the Muth in Pittsburgh.
I saw Ebron. Yeah, I did see that. They got a stable of receivers, though. A stable of them.
I know. I have one too many, which is nice. But I just realized that I have 4 players in the Tennessee-New England game, so that's terrifying.
That's fun.
And it's supposed to snow.
Oh yeah, you have a little snow cloud.
I know.
Next to them.
8 of my team has storms next to their names, so that's great. Great for me.
Yeah, currently you have 2 guys going Monday night with Metcalf and McLaurin, and I got no one, so I'll be done by Sunday evening. Hopefully I'll have some kind of cushion there.
Hopefully no cushion. I'm really happy that Zach Moss started sucking because that was a terrible, terrible feeling for me.
Dude, yeah. I mean, he was good for like 3 weeks, and then I probably played him in like 7 weeks. He scored 0.5 points on Sundays. It's like that is baloney.
Yeah, not good.
Anyway, revisiting. So you're taking yourself, I'm guessing. I'm taking myself in our matchup. Although I really need it. We're both taking O'Malley against Pebs. You are taking Bacon, and I'm taking Max in the 11v12 matchup. We're both taking Evan against Stu. We're both taking Bill against Adam. Both taking Jiggy against Scott, and you have an atonement shot on the line for that one. Yeah. Any final thoughts on this week before we get some fun memories from the first podcast and get out of here?
Yeah, we're coming down to the wire right now. It's super fun. Like our matchup, huge implications. I think that this is the beginning of the end of seasons for people, right? Like where we start to position ourselves for a championship run or a not Sacko run, you know?
Yeah. And it's rivalry week, baby. Yeah.
Jeepers. Best of luck to everybody except for you, Colin.
Feeling is mutual. All right, podcast number one throwbacks I found fun. Favorite picks in the draft. I said Gaskin, which was in the 5th round by Bacon. You said Sermon, which was in the 6th round by Stu. Least favorite pick, I said, was Barkley, 4th overall by Brad. You said Kyler by Scott. Not because you thought it was a bad pick, but because you had instant buyer's remorse about Wussel and you wanted Kyler.
Turns out both were wrong.
Kyler's been really good. He's been out for like the last month or so, whatever. But and he comes back after the bye. Like that's gonna perfect position for Scott to make his own run. He could even drop this game this week and then win the next 2 and probably get in at 8 wins. We both called out Stu for drafting Jamar Chase in the 7th round as his wide receiver 3. And now Jamar Chase is like a consensus top 10 receiver and a huge part of Stu's success. Bust teams. I chose Brad to bust, and he's on his way to the playoffs. You chose Pebs to bust.
Currently in the playoffs. That's crazy that Peb's team is.
There's no way he makes it. There's no way.
Yeah, he and I are on the inside on our way out. O'Malley and Scott are surging hard.
Pebbles plays O'Malley, Stu, and Brad, which is the second hardest strength of schedule.
6 versus 8. That's a huge matchup this week. O'Malley, Pebs.
Those are 2 big ones. What else? Oh, and we shouted out Adam in the first podcast because we were excited for his weekly Sackos shots, which he has done stupendously up to this point.
You know what's annoying? I haven't seen weekly championship shots from Stu, and his team is still doing well. So, boo.
Right. We don't even know who won the 2020 season either. It's not on the trophy. It could have been anybody.
I think I won. I'll pay you each $50 if you agree to call me the champion 2021.
All right. Well, that's that for this week. Kurt, thank you for the amazing jingle. And everybody, I'll see you all very soon.
Happy freaking Turkey Day, folks.
Gobble, gobble.
Gobble, gobble, gobble.
Welcome to the People's Podcast, week 11. Pebbles won the dad's match. No one can beat Evan. Just a couple of best friends hanging out. Let's break down the Frisbee touchdown. With a brush and some liquor, paint a playoff picture. Progressing with the season and the plot gets thicker. Stay tuned in and listen